an E.G.O first unboxing. Let's talk about it. Welcome back, everyone. It is I, the Dumble, whose door is always open. Gandalf without the white or the gray, because it's all black. Jory LaForge, captaining this enterprising. Am I Mr. Terrific? Hell no, Dr. Terrific. But I still believe in fair play. I am LeftEyeE.G.O. And today I get to talk to you guys about one of my other hobbies. I know that in my introduction video a few months back, I was talking about some of the things that interest me. They included, talking about entertainment, some sports, the Second Amendment, but I was kind of slacking on my action figure unboxing and developments. Just a quick aside, I've been more or less collecting action figures since I was like 7 years old. Kind of stopped after I was in around junior high school and high school, and then I recently got back into it maybe about 5 or so years ago. And so the thing is that when I actually had the action figures, they were all in boxes, just like on display, kind of like Andy from the 40-year-old version.
Comes in here. Oh, look, he's got a billion toys.
So what?
And more video games than a teenaged Asian kid.
All right.
Now I am making your silver pants blue.
And so when Shiro and I were dating, she was saying, well, what did you do with them when you had them? I said, well, they were action figures. So they were doing the actual action. They were in the poses. They were doing the thing. You had them flying around and pew, 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 pew. So she said, well, then why are they still in boxes? And that broke my mind. And I said, you know what? You're right. Let's take them out. And so they have been on display ever since. So the action figures that I actually tend to collect are ones from childhood. Either they were cartoon shows that I'd watched when I was younger, or that I really enjoyed. Mostly it's DC. I have a lot of DC and some Snyder Cut action figures. So that kind of fast forward to today. I actually got a new action figure that I wanted to actually go over with you guys and kind of compare and contrast, because I bought the same two action figures from two different manufacturers of toys. And so kind of to break things up with it and kind of define one from the other, I'm actually basing it off of the pop-up principle. No, not that Papa, but I'm going to call it based off of the presentation, the articulation of the action figure, the posability of them, as well as accessories. And as always, we don't do that 1 to 5 star crap over here. We do 1 to 5 E.G.Os, what I like to call the E.G.O statistics. So with that, let's get into it. So I'm going to show you first off what I wound up getting from Diamond Select. This is Scott Summers' version. He actually came with the cowl and the visor, but I'm not used to that version of Cyclops. So I actually took it off and put the head on. Now he just looks like a Morph in his underpants in the animated series. So I mean, the box was fairly large. It was decent presentation and decent boxing on there, but this is pretty much how it came on there. I just switched out the heads. That was pretty much it. All right. So I would say that even though I don't have the boxing with me, as far as the presentation, I can give it about maybe 3 E.G.Os. The box was huge, which makes you feel like you're actually getting a bargain for $30 for this huge, seemingly huge action figure. The box was clear and see-through, so you could see exactly what you're getting. Okay. So I am going to contrast that with what Hasbro sent me, right? So I have not even opened this since it was delivered. But check this out. Look at this. Look at this. It came in the actual, and if you don't believe me, check this out. It looks like it's a VHS tape. Can you believe that? So Hasbro, I'm asking you right now, did you think this was going to work on me? Trying to play on my nostalgia? Because you're damn right it's working. This is so cool. I was so excited. Even I told Shiro, I said, "Oh my god, look at this! It looks like it's a VHS tape." So could you open it? I was like, "No, I'm too busy marveling, pun intended, over how cool this presentation is." And so I have got to say, right out of the box, and look at that! It's got marvelous Cyclops on it. It's got the VHS sideboard here. Look on the back, it gives a preview of what he actually could look like in the pose. And he's even got what I was looking for, which is it was the animated series accurate hairstyle for Scott Summers, right? So honestly, look at this. It's plastic-free packaging. It's got the Hasbro logo on there at the bottom. Based off of presentation alone, not even unboxing this, it's getting 5 E.G.Os. Damn, Hasbro, you guys knocked this out of the park, all right? So while you've got that there, we are going to wind up switching to the articulation. We want to have, you basically want to try to have as many points of articulation as possible because it's actually going to increase the posability of the action figures you'll have. So I'm just going to walk you through that with the Diamond Select Cyclops that I've got here. All right. So we've got points of articulation kind of at the ankle here, as well as we can turn out the ankle here as well, right? We've got one at the knee, as well as the thigh. Kind of gives you that weird kick out look on there. The waist can do its turns here. We've got some articulation at the level of the, oh wow, it looks like the forearm as well as the elbow. That was unexpected. We've got nothing at the level of the bicep, but we can actually do it with the shoulders. That turns around and around there. And we've got the head, which is left and right, and doesn't necessarily go up and down because I think it's got a ball joint on here. Yeah, it's got a kind of a ball socket, so you kind of have to actually push down on there, kind of pop it to get it there. So basically, it's going to go down, but not necessarily all the way up either. Okay, so now that we've got that out of the way there, we are going to unbox this bad boy here. So, okay, looks of it. It looks so pretty. I don't want to mess up even the boxing part of it that they got. All right, so it looks like it slides out just like a VHS tape, and we're just chilling in here like he's in the Phantom Zone. Wow, you know what? This is looking really good. It feels pretty dense compared to what I've got with Diamond Select here. All right, if we're looking at our points of articulation here, and actually, almost going back to the presentation, it's got some of that shadowing effect that you see from the cartoon. You can see it's got some little striations here, but it's actually in that 90s shadowing. I don't know what you call that artistically. I'm not an artist, and I don't necessarily have Abomination A.G. on here, first point of view on this, but I really like the shading that they've got on here. You can kind of see that there. So again, they're knocking it out of the park just on presentation alone of the action figure. As far as points of articulation, we've got them at the ankle joint here. Do we have it? We've got it. Ankle turns out, and so does the leg. I'm not sure if we got any at the knee, but we do have it at the thigh as well as the waist. Waist feels a little bit stiff because I'm just going to chalk that more so up to it just being brand new and out of the box. We've also got that abdominal articulation point, which we were talking about earlier, which is actually really good. I am not sure a lot of action figures have gone back to this type of articulation, but it's really great. I know that's kind of one of my pet peeves with the McFarlane toys that came out. Even though they are very detailed, very realistic, and very affordable, it's just they've got this weird articulation at the pelvis and nothing else after that. It's just really weird. So they kind of full forward or they stand straight up. There really isn't any side to side movement or any up down give like this one has. We've got points of articulation going further at the wrist here. We've got it. We have it at the elbow. Don't necessarily have it at the elbow. Was expecting more there. We do have it at the level of the bicep, which I can appreciate, and shoulders looking good too. As far as shoulders looking good, so we can crank that around like that. Great. And as far as the head on here, yep, turns left and right, fully up and down. That's an improvement. Okay. So if we're comparing this one to another, I was actually going to give, I guess with Diamond Select, based on the points of articulation, I'm going to kind of give it maybe a 2.5, maybe a 3 at best. I say that just because even though it's got these points of articulation, look how loose this is. It's very loose here. And the ankle's decent. It's kind of stiff there. It's okay. But thighs are very stiff. Shoulders are still very stiff. And I've had this for 6 months. It's very stiff here. And even though I've got a lot of lateral movement, I don't have that up and down movement that I would be looking for, which you're going to need because, some of the X-Men actually fly. So it's not like you can look dead on and shoot an optic blast straight on. You got to kind of have to aim that bad boy up. All right. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 2.5, maybe a 3. For the one that I've got here that Hasbro has, I'm actually going to give it a 4. I was actually looking for a little bit more articulation, maybe at the level of the elbow, but that's me nitpicking, actually. I really like that thoracic, that point of articulation thoracically. It's awesome. I actually really wish a lot more companies would go that route. So, you know what? I'm going to give it 4 egos on that one for the ego statistics. All right. So after that, we're going to go with posability. For an action figure that is this large and seemingly that stiff, you're going to want to at least be able to be put into the poses and actually stay in them. You don't want to have to buy an action figure stand for the action figure to actually just stand up. It seems like it's kind of useless at that point. With the one for Hasbro, I think because it's got some decent points of articulation, I'm going to be able to actually get it into some of the poses that I actually want. Like, for instance, this one. It's one of my favorite poses right here. It's that kick out to the side. I'm rocking it right here as one of my favorite poses. I'll have to go back later on and make sure I can actually keep this in this pose. But for how stiff it is, even if I put it down here, it's actually kind of got a little bit more posability because I think that abdominal or thoracic point of articulation is actually going to help keep the balance, which I think is going to set it apart quite a bit from the one that I have from Diamond Select. So on that, I'm going to have to give posability for the Diamond Select. I'm going to have to give it like a 2. I really haven't been able to pose this the way that I want it without any kind of a stand to help him stay upright, just in almost this position at times. I'll stand him and he'll fall straight back. I don't know if it's something wrong with the angle of the ankle joint or what, but I have barely been able to pose this in 6 months. This seems like it's good and posable out of the box. So you know what? Even though it might not seem fair, I'm gonna have to give this, I'll give it a 4 stars just based on the potential alone on this one. And so last thing that we'll do in comparison is the accessories, if there were any that came with it, right? So I do know that for the one that I got from Diamond Selects, it actually came with the background from the Danger Room where they do all their training. And I believe it came with the head that was in the cowl with the visor. I think that's part of why the packaging was so big, was because it had to hold the Danger Room panel in the background on there, as well as that extra head with the visor. But outside of the fact that you have an extra panel, you have to collect the panels, the extra head that I actually wound up putting on top of them, that was pretty much it. For the Hasbro one, 2 left hands and a right hand. So it looks like we've got the traditional hand that goes over the visor before he activates his optic blast. We've got an open clutch right hand, and we've got an open clutch left hand, which I think is going to be great when you're actually trying to go into different poses with the action figures for Cyclops. You're going to have one where his fist is clenched, which is when he's trying to really concentrate and operate that optic blast, or he's reaching out. But it's actually a really good addition to what they've got on here. So if I have to compare the two, I will give I will give. I'm not gonna be so harsh on Diamond Select Toys. I'm gonna give it 3.5 because there was an attempt at it being cohesive, so that you would buy more of the action figures from that line, so that you could collect your own Danger Room background. But when it comes to Hasbro, what they've got, I'm gonna give it about 4 to 4.5. Actually, you know what? Let's give it about. I'll give it a solid 4 because it just came with hands. It's not like I came out with an extra panel or a trading card giving Scott Summers attributes. But I think what they did was make it so that buying these boxes is going to be just as collectible as a trading card that comes with the action figure. So for that, I'm going to give them the actual 4. All right. So I am looking forward to ordering more action figures from Hasbro at this point. If you want, you can actually go to their app. They have the Hasbro app. You can actually get, I think they have the trademark for or the rights to the Power Rangers line too. So if you're in a Power Rangers, go get them. If they're anything like these, it's going to be phenomenal. And they actually have a create your own Power Ranger line that I saw in there. It was a few weeks prior. I'm not sure if they're still doing it, but it was very awesome to know that you could actually be a Power Ranger on there too. I know the homie Cowtown is gonna love when he hears it. That one's for you, man. But anyway, I'm definitely looking forward to getting more action figures from Hasbro. They absolutely nailed this. This is I can't wait to at least put this in more poses and collect more action from these more action figures from these guys. All right. For now, we've got Molly, Wally, E.G.O out.